There's a reason that whenever you try to build a new positive habit or get rid of a terrible one, you don't succeed. And it's actually quite simple. So if there's one thing I feel like I've had success with, it's building habits. And if I were to say what's one of my superpowers, it's doing the same boring thing every day. Now, when it comes to habits, they can be really tricky. And you've probably heard, and maybe you've tried it yourself, that people set New Year's resolutions. They try to get into a good new habit, but rarely it sticks. And as someone who's done multiple habits for a really long time, whether it was studying for exams, whether it was getting up early, whether it's been eating a certain way for fitness, working out, whether it's doing something for work every day, posting every day for almost 3 years, whatever it is, there's a reason you stick with the habits, okay? I'm gonna try to make this video as short as possible. Before we move further, we're almost at 1,000 subscribers. I need your help. If you don't already subscribe, which you probably don't, make sure you do it now. It's gonna help me a lot and I really appreciate it. In my experience, there are 3 main reasons why you're having trouble sticking to a new positive habit or getting hold of an old terrible one. And stick to the end. If you just have that one, that's marginally gonna give you the best odds at succeeding with this. And that's what most people miss when they're trying to set a new habit. So the first reason is you're being too ambitious with your new habit or the change that you want to make. To give you a really simple example, so many people want to get up early for whatever reason you want to get up early. If you're waking up at 8 or 9 or 10 and now you're like, I want to get up at 5, that's great. I mean, I want to get up early as well. But going from like 9 or 10 to now getting up at 5 is a huge change. Not only is it a change in terms of when you probably have to go to bed, but it's also a change for your body in terms of when it's waking up and the circadian rhythm, like your body's internal clock. So instead of going, okay, tomorrow I'm gonna wake up at 5, you might be able to do that and you might be able to do that for a few days, but chances are it's gonna be really difficult for you to stick to it. So if you've had like a New Year's resolution and you've tried this, you've already experienced that. Maybe it lasts for a week. Maybe you go to the gym for a week and then you skip. That's what happens. Instead, what I found to work for me is going, okay, so I'm waking up at 8 or 9 now, and my goal time is at 6. What I'm gonna do today, or I guess tomorrow, is I'm gonna wake up half an hour earlier. And the reason I'm only choosing half an hour is it's a much smaller change. But once I've gotten used to that change for like a week or 2 weeks, then I'll go down half an hour more, or maybe I can even go down an hour. And doing it this way helps my body adjust to the change. It helps me realize, okay, when do I have to go to bed? How am I going to be affected in the morning when I wake up earlier and I have that, do I want to get up now? It just allows me to make smaller increments of change that are easier to sustain and can be consistent with. And anything you can be consistent with, you can win with. Now, not only do I recommend taking small incremental changes, the second reason that your habits aren't sticking is the purpose behind doing something. If you just go, I want to work out because it's cool to work out and there's not really any greater intention behind it, you might be able to go to the gym for a week or 2 weeks at the beginning of the year. But if the reason isn't that strong and you don't have an internal fire lighting you up, that's why you gotta do it, then it's going to be quite difficult. And it's the same with any other kind of habit, any kind of action really that you have to take, which is my recommendation is you need to have a strong reason for changing your habits, because it's really difficult to change a habit if you don't have a strong reason, because you're gonna be in the moment of having that trigger for the habit and you're gonna be like, oh, should I do it? Should I not do it? And in that moment, you have to think about, why am I doing this? And if it's not really important to you, you're not really gonna care enough to hold your ground. And this ties into the third reason. Again, I told you I was gonna make this video quick, so hopefully it's actionable. And the last reason is the fact that it's gotta be identity driven. And what I mean by identity driven is any kind of change you want to last is saying, I'm the type of person who does this, or I'm not the type of person who does this. And you can go look at what Tony Robbins has been saying for years, but when you attach something to your identity, it is so strongly linked to how you view yourself. For instance, for me, to give you a personal example, I view myself as someone who works out regularly. like 4 to 5 times per week. Meaning that most of the time, I don't really have to think about, do I want to go to the gym or do I want to work out? It's just part of who I am. Now, the workouts might change, and they have over the last 8 or 9 years, but I'm a person who works out. So that's just what I do. Do I have days where I don't want to work out? Yeah, of course. And it's the same with any other kind of stuff. I'm a person who smokes. Turn that into, I am no longer a person who smokes. And it's then the situation of like, where, there's the example of Tony Robbins going, why are you still counting how many days that you've not been smoking for? Like, either you're a person who smokes or you're not. And it's just so much easier having to count, oh, I've not smoked for 10 days now because I'm not a person who smokes. Or I'm not a person who drinks. I'm not a person who steals. I'm not a person who speaks badly about other people. Insert whatever. So the more you can tie your identity, and again, this is also tied to the reason stuff. You gotta have a strong reason, because without the strong reason, you're not gonna believe in yourself when you actually make it part of your identity. Like, why do you want to lose weight? There's got to be something strong behind that. Why do you want to get in shape? Why do you want to be stronger? Why do you want to make more money, build a business, go into this career, take care of people around you, drop out of something? What's the reason for doing it? It's got to be strong. But if it is strong, you can do anything you want. This is the simplest kind of advice. I know there's some advice out there saying you gotta replace a bad habit with a new good habit. And I think there's some merit to that, in the sense that it's really difficult just to remove something from your daily life without changing it to something else. But I don't see that as like, instead of waking up at 8, I then clean my house every day, or I clean my apartment every day. No, it's not like it has to be something else, but you switch the one habit to just another time, for instance. So going from waking up at that time to now this time. So in that way, it's just really hard to just eliminate something. And it's a lot easier to change something from a before to an after. This is some of the stuff that's worked tremendously for me, whether it's been, okay, I'm a person who works really hard to get good grades, meaning that I have to do this stuff every day, or whether it's I have to work out this many times, or whether it's I have to do this advertising for the business, whatever it's been. If I'm the type of person who just does that every day, and it's really important for me to get the result, then it's a lot easier to do this stuff, because in the moment where you're like, do I really care about this? You do. And you remind yourself that like missing one day is shit happens. And I guess this is from Atomic Habits, but missing 2 days is the beginning of a new habit. And I think there's a lot of weight to that, and I find it to be very true. And I actually use this phrase and remind myself, like, yeah, no, you're probably going to be fine if you miss this time, but then what are you going to happen the next time you feel the same way? And the next time? It's just a slippery slope. There's no end to it. There's always an easier path, but there's a reason you wanted this to begin with. Why is that? I'm the person who does this. Great, let's do it. And I think even Sharon, who's the president of acquisition.com, said, I can suck at whatever I have to do for the habit, but I can't skip. And that's also something that I tell myself. Like, you can be really bad at it, you just have to do it. I hope this video helps you out. Remember to subscribe. There's a top pinned link if you want to get a free coaching session to get your business off the ground, get more clients, whatever you're dealing with or struggling with. If you hated this video, please let me know. We'd love to hear what you would like to see instead. As always, I'll catch you next week. Stay disciplined.